2611. A personal war. I can't stop the tears, nor the pain inside. Can't go out, can't even hide. Terrified of who I am and what I will become. I stay alone, nowhere to run. I lost no one, and yet I am afraid. I had nothing to see, and yet I stayed. Didn't lose a home or fight the fight, yet so completely torn, lost all my might. And I can't explain the hurt nor the sadness I feel. Can't explain why the violations felt so real. It became personal, though it wasn't about me. I became a captive, lost my will to be free. And so when you walk across and smile at me, don't patronize me. Don't tell me I was so lucky. Families lost lives. Hundreds were killed. I may not be one, but my conscience was billed. I may be safe, but that hasn't calmed my fear. I may be alive, but I've shed many a tear. I may be willing to learn to live once more, but I will not forget. This was a very personal war.
I'm from Chennai. Idyllic, tranquil Chennai where days ended at the civilized hour of 6 p.m. Where making it to the 10 p.m. train was not considered a lucky break. With the opportunity to move from a desk job back home to main TV news reporter Smita Prasad reporting live and exclusive seemed far too good to resist. So here I am with my new haircut, wardrobe, a landlady who gives Hitler a complex with the mustache, a paycheck that doesn't pay for much in a city like Mumbai. And although I hate to admit it, I'm tired, alone, and now after this SMS, just a bit terrified. I thought of calling my sister in Chennai just to ask her what was happening on TV. But I decided against it. She would just tell my dad and he has high blood pressure, and my mum, well, my mother would tell me in her reproachful "I told you so" voice, terrorist attack. Smita, this is all your fault. Smita, when will you get a real job, ma? Smita, your ambition will drive all the men away. Smita, just settle down and get married in Chennai. Smita, Smita, Smita.
So like near me, Smita, at CST station. This Bombay like dream city, na? You know, like big buildings, big seas, and people also so many.
I was nervous as hell. So I went up to her and I was like, "Hi, Trupti. I just wanted to tell you something. And the something that I wanted to tell you was that you're perfect. You're perfect. Absolutely perfect. Like the Times New Roman font, 12-point size. Perfect. Not too bold, not too italic, with just a little bit of underline on the side." I hated myself. I mean, after that Microsoft-sponsored proposal, Times New Roman would have gone out with me. Surely not Trupti.
So, anyways, we were told to like leave because apparently like some terror people or something had like attacked. So shocking.
I decided to change the location. I said, perhaps let's take this out to dinner, you know. Take this party, move it somewhere else, Kandahar, Oberoi. So there we were, ordering dinner. We heard a giant pop and a loud bang. It was almost like a car backfire. In the middle of the restaurant.
All of us hiding in corners scared. I didn't even blink. I didn't even breathe. All of us barely breathed for those few minutes. They started coming and banging on our door. Is anybody in there?
still can't sleep at night sometimes. I still see the blood, I see the victims, I hear their screams of pain. 26/11 changed me. At first, I went through all the symptoms that my city did. I felt fear, wide, irrational fear. And then I felt sadness. I mourned for those that we lost, even though I didn't know very many of them. And then I felt anger. Who did this to us? And more importantly, how dare they? And then I felt disillusionment. What difference was I going to make? What difference could I ever make? What difference could one voice make? And I then went back to those 72 hours. I tried to figure what kept me awake, what kept me alive. And the thing that had given me some amount of comfort and solace was writing blogs and poems about prayer and hope. And also speaking to the commissioner every hour to just check whether my city was safe, to check whether he was safe. And then I realized something very important, that terror has now become a global phenomenon. And by letting hate and anger win, I was letting terror win. And I could not do that. So what I did was, I asked the commissioner for help, and I asked my family and friends for help. And I went to meet the survivors, to focus on life rather than death. And I met the survivors, I met so many of them. And I decided to compile their stories and to try and write about 7 people in 7 different parts of the city on the night of 26/11. I then went to 6 actors and asked them whether they would play this out with me. They did, and we premiered in a hall that seated 150. We had 500 people sitting in the hall, some sitting in the aisle, some sitting in the sound consoles, and we premiered to a full house and a standing ovation. Then again, and then somebody in that hall thought we were good enough to take us halfway across the world to Edinburgh, where we could tell those people about our heroes, our stories. So today when somebody comes up to me and says, one voice doesn't make a difference, I have to disagree. It does make a difference. You just have to shout loud enough.
भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना उछल जल तरंग तव शुभ नाम जय तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय
From the day I saw this presentation, or whatever you call this, the monologues, I have been thinking as to what we can do and how we can alter the situation, and I am working at it. I want to tell you, as Commissioner of Police, I come here as Divya's fan. But I, as Commissioner of Police, would like to say that we must change. We must change, like they have all said, all the characters said that they have changed. We must also change. I have changed a lot. And we are changing the Mumbai police actually, and it should be the same Mumbai police which was there on 26/11. God forbid it shouldn't happen, but if it ever happens, our response would be absolutely different. And I am responsible for that. I promise all of you that our response would be absolutely different, and that is what whether the government does whatever is fit or not, we can all do together, and that's what Divya has done. I'm sure it's a huge presence from her, from the Mumbai police. Incidentally, I'm also working at a monument for those martyrs, for those policemen who lost their lives. The others definitely we are working at. On the Gateway of India, if I'm permitted, I will go for a solemn function of something which is befitting all those 185 people. But for my people, my friends, my men who have lost their lives, they're coming up with a monument which will be there forever. Perhaps this could be used for that, and that will be a befitting thing for her hard work, and also for those people who lost their lives and gave the country the best they could possess. So once again, Divya, I can't just forget. Every time I see this, I get terribly disturbed actually. It's a very so powerful a medium that it disturbs me a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for this. Thank you.